views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me, busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail. Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome. It is so great to have all of you tuning us in, turning us on. And thank you to our friends in Australia who have been emailing us, asking us for dates and times and how can we listen live. And boy, I'll tell you, yep, we are all about sending you that information. For those of you out there that are still wondering how to do that, the best way to do it is go to transformationtalkradio.com and click on the old Listen Live button. The other thing that people are telling me, folks, is yes, our telephone app works really well. I'm so thrilled to have everybody tuning us in because we have sheer alchemy here with my co-host, Leslie Fonteyne. What a show we have got for you. Pushing versus allowing. The hidden face of fear. I love this. The hidden face of fear. For those of you, let me tell you a little bit about Leslie. And boy, it's only a little bit because the work that she does, many of you already know about. You know about her incredible gift as a transformation catalyst, somebody that uses her intuitive, energetic gifts to help all of us live the lives that we were born to live. Whether it's shifting from scarcity to abundance, emotional pain into joy, illness into health, it is all about how she goes about it. She's got this team of ascended masters and archangels that get to be part of the conversation. And through that partnership, she is helping people all over the globe. Today, we get to talk with her about what this means when we look at pushing versus allowing. Sheer Alchemy is her fabulous, fabulous radio show and the energy that goes into all of it. Leslie, welcome. It is so great, great, great topic.
I know. We're all going to tell on ourselves today, aren't we?
I'm ready. I'm ready to tell. I'm ready to tell.
Exactly.
Let's talk about this for a little bit because there's an energy that is represented with both of these, pushing versus allowing. And yet at times it's not recognizable. The difference between them is not recognizable. What is getting in the way of that? Because if we're not aware of it, it's really hard to know what to do with either one of them.
Right. Well, it's sort of the same thing as when people say, I don't know what excitement feels like, because they say it feels like anxiety and it feels like a tension or a fear. And so sometimes, when we've come along long enough in this life of ours, we don't recognize our feelings. We don't know how to label them. And, I don't know why the words Prozac Nation are coming to me right now.
Yeah.
But sometimes we're nervous because if we just don't have that placid, same old, nothing new under the sun feeling, we're nervous about the feelings we do have. So I would challenge everyone right now to get real enough, close enough to yourself and really pay attention even to where you are right now. Because you sort of do know where you are. Do you have an underlying, low-lying anxiety? Is there something that scares you a bit? Are you nervous that your boss is going to walk in on you while you're looking at your personal email? Are you anxious about what someone's perceiving about you? Or whether you're enough or whether you can make it and whether you can create something? Or are you, so explosively excited? So look at your body right now while we're talking and Pat and I are discussing this, and pay attention. What are you feeling in your chest area, in your shoulders, in your neck? What are you feeling in your stomach? What are you feeling, throughout your body? Is there a tension? Is there a sense of relaxation? This is part of you. Now, if you don't know what the word is that it's called, forget that. That's just labeling. Just find out right now and then go, have I chosen to make this good or bad? Have I put that label on it now?
This is it. We've got a label for everything.
Yeah.
Pretty much we do. I mean, I'm really struck by how innovative and creative we are, especially in the world that we live in, the media world.
Right.
With what we call things, labels for things. But there's something that I think, there's a word that I used earlier, and I want to talk with you about it, that almost everybody knows. They know the word fear. And yet at the same time, everybody's got a different perspective on what that means. How we were raised, how does that affect how we show up later on in life? What are some of the ways that we are influenced?
When we say the word fear, everybody explains this to us, but I honestly think we're so emotional about the word fear, we don't even pay attention. So if you say, well, there's fears that are good, don't jump out in front of a car that's headed toward you and don't go in front of a flying bullet, that kind of thing. That's normal. But we honestly still don't get it. So what we tend to do because we don't get it is we just take fear as a warning for everything. And our warning system is not meant to guide us. And so, I was giving an example earlier about we get a dream, we get an intention, we get a desire, and we're so happy, we're so excited. Now, all of us know what that feeling is. We all know. It's like falling in love, and pretend it's about a person, but it could be about your project. It could be about a dream, about your book. The next thing that may happen is that you start thinking, well, how am I going to do that? How am I going to make it happen? And all of these anxieties come in. Who's going to give me the time to do that? So that is a form of fear that we don't need to have stop us. So I just have everyone right now, whatever that desire is you have, pay attention to what is it. Label it for yourself right now.
When we start to feel that fear, I wanted to ask you this question about it. If we start to think about the fear and we feel it in a part of our body, for example, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about a fear. Fear of maybe having to do something over the weekend, or fear of going on a date, or fear of having to talk to my boss. And all of a sudden, Leslie, my back hurts. All of a sudden, I got a crook in my back. Or all of a sudden, I've got a massive headache.
Right.
Isn't that also a way that fear shows up? People say, well, I don't know, Leslie. I don't know what fear feels like. But, boy, I got to tell you, I just got a headache.
Well,
listening to you.
Yeah, there's also the avoidance thing. So, for example, if you've been at this rodeo before, where every time you get close to a dream, you find a way to sabotage it, that, too, is a way to tell on ourselves right now, right? How many times have we been at this door where we're about to knock and we don't? So pay attention within your body. Now, here's the thing, because we're going to talk about pushing versus allowing, but it's really important to at least tune into ourselves right now and know which part of us is driving the bus, which part of us sabotages, which part of us puts our head back under the pillow and rolls over and says, forget it, I'm not doing it. And what are the reasons I'm going to fail? What is failure? You're just listening to all the tapes that you've been running in your life for years and years and years. Why are you listening today? You're listening today because you're done with some of those tapes. Yeah. But the key about pushing versus allowing, I want to give an example. A lot of my corporate career that I had, I was so motivated by fear. Oh, my gosh. I drove myself through fear. I drove myself into promotions. I pushed myself into overperformance. It was crazy. When I began shifting into allowing and trusting source, I panicked. I panicked because I didn't understand that I didn't have to use that same energy. When you're not being motivated by that fear anymore, it's confusing. So allowing is not not doing anything. Allowing is coming from another energy, which is I am deserving, I am abundant, I'm drawing in the exponential, unlimited opportunities coming to me. I'm not worried about starvation. I'm not worried about having a roof over my head. You're coming from a completely different place. Well, when you're shifting gears like that, and many listeners are doing that, it gets a little confusing.
Yeah. And, there's something else I want to talk about when we come back from break. And this idea, and this has been confusing for a lot of people around this, Leslie. It's this idea that if I'm allowing, I'm not necessarily working hard, right?
Right.
We've had this confusion about, the power of now and the power of next. And that if you're in the power of now, you're not really doing very much.
Yep.
But there's something that it gets confusing for people. So when we come back, I'd love to talk about, what does this pushing feel like? And how do we know when we're pushing instead of allowing and doing? Let's take a short break. Leslie Fonteyne joining us here today. Great show, Sheer Alchemy. Leslie Fonteyne, pushing versus allowing, the hidden face of fear. For those of you out there, we would also love to know that you have a question, you want to get some help during the show. Really easy to do. 1-800-930-2819. 1-800-930-2819. When we come back, Leslie's going to walk us through the pushing feeling. What is it about? And how do we know what the heck to do with it? Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
When your legs don't work like they used to before, and I can't sweep you off of your feet, will your mouth still remember the taste of my love? Will your eyes still smile from your cheek?
Grateful patients have been saying it for 25 years. When in pain, see Dr. Thayne. Dr. Thayne of Wellness One of Bellevue has been named one of the nation's top chiropractors by the Consumers Research Council of America, and for good reason. He has helped his patients recover their energy and vitality after car accidents, sports injuries, herniated discs, fatigue due to stress, the list goes on. The website is bellevue.wellness1.net. When in pain, see Dr. Thayne. That's bellevue.wellness1.net.
I'm Christine Upchurch, and this is a Stellar Reflections Minute. Years ago, when facing cancer, without any immediate treatment options, I sought healing by making various life changes. For a while, I followed a very restrictive diet. I often found myself obsessing about which foods were good and which ones were bad. Then one day, I realized I was consuming foods based on fear of not getting well. But I didn't want to make choices out of fear anymore. I decided it was far better for my immune system if I allowed myself to experience the joy that came from, say, eating frozen yogurt, than it was for me to ingest the fear that came from avoiding it. Now, instead of choosing healthy habits based on fear, I try to make choices because they feel right and ultimately bring me joy and ease. How many of your healthy habits are really based on fear? Please visit StellarReflections.com or call 425-999-9836. That's 425-999-9836.
Tired of traditional talk? People pontificating about this or that, the left or the right. Sometimes the truth is just all lost in the noise. Tune in each week to Straight Talk with Chuck Gallagher on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Mondays at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, as nationally known guests talk about what's important to you, your life, your concerns, and your success. Tune in and turn on to Straight Talk with Chuck Gallagher. Visit ChuckGallagher.com for more information.
Would you like to be a question with anything that comes up in your body or mind? Would you like to become totally aware and begin to function as the conscious being you truly are? Join Access Certified Facilitator Glenna Rice every month for a live teleclass where you can ask all of your questions and learn to create change in any aspect of your life. Visit GlennaRice.com today to learn more and don't miss the next call. Join the questionable conversation today at GlennaRice.com.
Welcome to Smile Big, nominee of Seattle's Top Dentist Awards. Here at Smile Big, we offer restorative, cosmetic, and preventative dentistry. Some of our regular dental services include tooth-colored fillings, crowns, bridges, implants, bleaching, cosmetic bonding, and complete smile restoration. Dr. James Rosenwald and Dr. Susan Aptener won't be smiling until you are smiling. Call now to schedule a visit with Seattle's top dentists. Our number is 425-454-4040. You can even visit our website at smilebig.com.
70, And baby, my heart could still fall as hard at 23. And I'm thinking.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. It's great to have everybody here. Leslie Fonteyne in the house. Leslie, pushing, what is that about? Feeling fear. That's what happened to me before.
Uh-huh.
And everybody thought, oh, there's technological problem. No, that's exactly what happens when we invite fear into our living room, right?
Right.
We invite fear into the living room, and we don't know what to do with that. And so when we invite fear in, what happens with the pushing, and what's a relationship, Leslie, between pushing and fear? Because, boy, I'll tell you, that is not a place that I want to go to often.
No, I don't think most of us do.
All right.
Every button that we have gets pushed, basically. If you've got a button, if you've got a parent's voice, if you've got a school voice, if you've got a job voice, and basically all of these are energies that we've grown up to be accustomed to in our lives. You know, I always tell the story of when I no longer attracted my father as a boss. You know, it was the most liberating day. But then the first thing I said was, gosh, what's wrong with him? You know, because I didn't recognize the shift in the energy. I didn't recognize the positivity. I didn't recognize the full endorsement, appreciation, and value that he placed on me. It's a very, very different feeling. So, you know, often when I'm counseling clients, I tell them, you know, now look, after we do this clearing thing, things are going to show up. Don't reject them out of hand. And that's our tendency, is when something we don't recognize shows up, we dismiss it. We ignore it. It's not making the same sounds, the same noise. It's a different frequency, all that stuff, right? So our whole body and energy field is attuned to some habits. So what happens when we go into fear? Every habit, every trigger, every voice, every energy that in the past was our fight or flight mechanism shows up. So many of us will go into hyper mode and start pushing, getting aggressive, terrified that no one's listening, no one's going to hear us, no one's going to buy that thing that we just created, et cetera, et cetera. Others of us will go dive under a pillow and hide because we do not want to deal with the potential of rejection. That's what fear represents. So this is the next step, is what does it represent to you? What is that music that it plays when you find yourself in a situation of what? Putting yourself out there. That's typically when fear shows up. So back to pushing versus allowing. We think that, well, if I've got to push myself out there, if I've got to make this phone call, or I've got to talk to these people, you know, something is going to go wrong. Where is that message coming from? You know, follow the string, as I like to say all the time. Follow the string to those voices, to those times in life that either said you weren't good enough, you didn't move fast enough, you're not smart enough, how are you going to do that? You don't have the money, you don't have the support, you know, just on and on and on. So, again, all of these things, when they surface in our field, this is this great, grand opportunity to step into all that we are, into the limitlessness, into the abundance. Every time we step into something great, of course, there's going to be negativity that shows up and pulls us back down or tries to. So if you know that already, this time, you're listening right now, get ready.
So when we take a look at this, Leslie, and we're taking a look at, you know, what this feels like, you know, in the getting ready, there is something that is extraordinary that for each of us that you've talked about. And one of it is to really understand what is going on and what that feeling is. Because if we can't sense it, right, if we can't sense that pushing feeling, you know, that pushing versus allowing feeling, then we're not going to be able to make an adjustment. And, you know, so the question is, how much faith does allowing require?
Well, it's an interesting question. I was thinking that right now as an exercise while we're talking about this, if everyone could go into their field, and even you, Pat, we're going to let you go in and you can go quiet because you can be part of the exercise. It'll be fun to see what we all come up with in a couple of minutes here. But go in right now to that desire or dream that you have and just feel what the frequency is like in your own field. Just allow yourself to take a look at what's going on, at the thoughts and all that. Now I want to bring in some light beings, okay? Let's bring in some of the masters. Let's bring in kind of an enhanced energy, some high-level crystalline type cosmic white light energy. Let's bring that into our heart space. Some people are super, super tight in their throat. They can't even let their truth out right now. So just go into that, noticing that it's moving down to the power center for a few people. Like, how can I do that? So just release that, let it go. Now, the point of this is to get to the intuitive guidance, which is, do I need to do anything right now? Do I need to create something? Do I need to just allow the absolute best positive that's coming my way? When we're so wrapped up in the fear, we cannot hear. Some of us are terrified to get quiet. So let's listen. Now, everybody has gotten some clarity. And the next thing that we find out, by the way, regarding that clarity, is we don't like the answer. The next step contains some step into our grandeur. And we have been playing small. Greatness doesn't just fall on you. So now you want to step into it. And that's the action. How do you do it right off the bat? You allow. So just allow your intention right now to take you into that thought, that idea, that guidance you got, and just go there without doing anything. You're not picking up the phone, calling someone, writing anything down, doing anything. Just go there with your energy. And just see yourself allowing it, creating it, making it happen. So there should be some pressure that's come off in people's second, which is our security center, that everything's going to fall apart and you won't be able to take care of yourself if you follow your intuitive guidance. Another message that surfaces. Again, all of this is about stepping into your grandeur. So how'd that work for you, Pat?
You know, I have to tell you, for me, it shows up in it. Do I have a minute, Benny, to talk about this?
Sure, go ahead. Yep.
Okay. It shows up for me in my gut, literally in my gut,
right,
in my lower abdomen. It shows up there. And I have to tell you, as you're speaking, my stomach started to gurgle, Leslie.
Wow.
Gurgle. Now I'm not talking about hunger, pain, what do you know, whatever they're called. No, a gurgling. That's how it shows up for me.
Mm-hmm.
Or it did just now. But what I got from this was just so beautiful, because I love what you said about playing small versus playing big. And, you know, I thought came to mind, you know, it's something my coach, who just passed away in December, my table tennis coach from way back, said to me years ago. You know, he would say in his little, you know, West African accent, he would say, "Oh, Pat, when are you going to learn to play to win? You're always playing not to lose. You're always playing not to lose. When are you going to play to win?" And that's really interesting. It's kind of like you were talking about. You know, we just don't realize it, that some days, you know, we're not playing all out.
Right.
No matter what it is. You know, we're not stepping all out. You know, we're not taking the gifts that we've been given, whatever they are. I have a friend that anytime you want to go grocery shopping, this is the person you want to take with you. You want to take this person with you. She knows the best places to get the best produce for the best price anywhere. She knows things about fruits, vegetables, products that no one really knows. And it's kind of like when you step out in the world with somebody like that, you're going to be introduced to things you've never known about before. And see, that's what I hear you saying, is there's a whole level of awareness available to all of us.
Right.
And and
it's
we
like
have to
changing
figure out
the radio channel, isn't it? It's like changing the channel. Well, definitely. When we come back, I do want to talk about something you touched on, but we didn't use the word exactly, and that's competitiveness.
All right, let's take a short break, everyone. And by the way, we are taking your calls into the show today. For those of you out there that want to connect with Leslie, that want to discover inside of you what might be your fear blockage, how to get some help, how to get some relief. And then we're going to tell you how to find out more about Leslie, all of the really amazing places that she is going to be, including London and Australia. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Sheer Alchemy. Today's show is amazing. And I want to just say, for those of you that did this exercise and want to get some help with whatever happened, please call us, 1-800-930-2819. We'll be right back.
Stay in bed. The feeling of your skin locked in my head. Smoke me broke. I don't care.
Get sophisticated with David and Philip Zarza. David and Philip touch on topics such as human potential, spirituality, pop culture, and purposeful living. Experience an insightful reading from David on what the universe has in store for you, or reconnect with a departed loved one. Philip can look into an issue or anything else you may be dealing with. Go to getsophisticated.com. That's SOPHISTIGAYTED.com, or call 206-420-8660. Wondering how to play the game of life and actually win? Stop wondering and start winning the game of life with the unique, incomparable Lynn Brown. Lynn takes everyday aspects of life and infuses them with the magic of soul and passion to help others. She wants to help you next. Lynn offers a myriad of spiritual healing, from chakra clearing, aura healing, to even corporate and business readings. Bring your game face and visit letter R, letter U, intuit.com, or call 844-letter-B-INTUIT.
If you're one of the millions of Americans suffering from anxiety, you probably know how powerless and out of control this emotion can make you feel. This is why it is so important to remember that anxiety is created by your mind, which means that you can learn to use your mind to uncreate it. Hello, my name is Dr. Friedman Schaub. My award-winning book, The Fear and Anxiety Solution, provides you with a step-by-step breakthrough process to understand and resolve the root causes of your anxiety and build a solid foundation of confidence and inner peace. If you are ready to take your power back, visit thefearandanxietysolution.com. That's thefearandanxietysolution.com, or call 866-903-6463. That's 866-903-MIND.
Do you want to transform your life's trauma and challenges into the gift that your life was meant to be? It's time for you to take control of your soul journey to heal, grow, and shine. Manifest your destiny with Wendy Wolf, soul transformer, energy, and psychic healer. To start your soul journey, contact Wendy at healgrowshine.com or email Wendy at wendy@wendyrwolf.com and start your adventure today.
Tune in each Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Time, 4 Eastern Time on Transformation Talk Radio to Limelight Radio with Katina Makris. This is an inspirational, cutting-edge radio show educating worldwide listeners on a diversity of Lyme disease-related topics. Each week, Katina will interview some of the world's leaders in health, wellness, spirituality, and human potential. For more information, visit limelightradio.com.
Wanna keep you here, 'cause you dry my tears. Yes, I'm not loving them fights, how it is for us, and it's all because now if we're talking body, you got a perfect one.
Hey, everybody, welcome. Welcome. It's great to have all of you tuning us in, turning us on. Leslie Fonteyne, fabulous show, Sheer Alchemy. That is what this is about. That is the work that she does. Today, the topic, Leslie, is pushing versus allowing, the hidden face of fear. Before we jump into that, I want to just make sure for those of you out there, if you are anything like what I just experienced, you're probably going to want to give us a shout, 1-800-930-2819, or send your question in by going to transformationtalkradio.com. And on the right-hand side down the bottom, type your question in. We'll get it on air. I have to say, Leslie, let's take a minute and let folks know the best way to find out about you, where you're going to be, and when you're going to be there, or how they can find that out. And then I can't wait to hear what you're about to say.
Wonderful. Well, you can definitely find me on the web at lesliefonteyne.com. That's LeslieFonteyne.com. And you definitely can find out where I'm going to be. I'm going into the ice and snow belt this weekend in Raleigh, and then doubling that up with Chicago the following weekend, then Portland and Cincinnati. But I'm excited also about my trips back to the UK and London, where I'm going to be doing some in-person events. It's going to be absolutely tremendous, as well as in Sydney and Melbourne following up in May and June. So it's going to be quite a time.
Wow. You know, Leslie, this was for folks listening to the show today. If all of you all out there have had anything even closely resembling, first of all, the zone out, that in 13 years of doing radio, I just have to say this, right, Benny? In 13 years of doing radio, I do not ever remember a zone out like that. And I don't think it was a zone out, Leslie. I think it was a zone in.
No, it was
like a zone in, right?
And it's a great example, too, of what happens if we were to draw the parallel in real life. Here you are, you've been striving, operating in fear, going, and people mistake fear as meaning not productive. It can be quite the opposite for some people.
Right.
But you switch the frequency, and it feels like zoning out. It feels like, oh, my gosh, nothing's going to happen. I'm never going to make a living again. I'm going to lose the roof over my head. Everyone's going to leave me. No one will ever love me. Who will my friends be? We go on a rant. I mean, it's really quite the thing. So don't minimize when, I have a lot of clients that are shifting through some tremendous energies right now. I mean, if they're listening to me and they're calling me, that's what it's about for them. They're shifting, moving, experiencing things that they've not experienced before, and they're trying to figure it out. Well, when you go into a new frequency, you don't operate in the same paradigm. You may have the same surroundings, okay, but you are responding differently. So don't dismiss it. Don't walk around. I have people saying all the time, what's wrong with me? Nothing's wrong with you. You're fine. But it's when they say that, they're going, well, I'm not who I used to be. I'm not who I recognize. I'm sorry. Did you ask to shift? I think you did. So you are shifting. You are moving into a new way of drawing your abundance to you, of drawing opportunity to you. It's different. It's new. Explore. We get on a bicycle for the first time. We take the training wheels off and we fall. Guess what? Same thing here. We think that spirituality should be a snap. I can tell you when I started, I worked very hard at it. It took hours. Now I can do some things very, very quickly. It's like everything. It's like learning to cook. Don't think this is different. So when you struggle, when you're trying to figure it out, when you're asking questions, learning, getting a sense, what am I seeing? What am I feeling? Allow yourself the space to get it. So here you are shifting from fear into allowing. Allow yourself to understand the sensations in your body. Nobody else is in there with you. Nobody else is in your dream. You are alone in this thing. But now you bring in source. You bring in your companions on the path. And now you build a new company. And that's when the adventure begins.
Leslie, I want to ask you about something that is related to this as well. Sometimes when we have these awakenings, let's call it, we look at our lives. And first of all, the people that are in our lives are not really the people we want in our lives. We have sort of a discomfort all of a sudden, right?
Right.
The places necessarily we thought we loved aren't there anymore. The job that we thought, I'm going to be here until whatever, it's now starting to feel discomfort. Can you talk a little bit about the role discomfort plays in giving us some insight?
It is a beautiful thing. Oh, yeah. I'm going to say it. Discomfort is a beautiful thing. How many of us have come round and round? I call it, the children of Israel went around Mount Sinai 40 years. So I always call it one more time around Mount Sinai. Here we go. Let's do it again. You guys, everyone have had the same knock at the same door too many times. So here you are. You're ready to take a leap. You're ready to shift. What does it feel like? Well, you're uncomfortable. It's unpleasant. And once again, oh my gosh, something must be wrong. Yes, something's wrong. It's time to shift. So allow it, shift into it. Now what happens? It's kind of like, falling into a black hole. You don't know what's next. That's the fear. We don't know what comes next because we don't have that manual yet. Well, you're going to create the manual. You're going to find out how that operates. I play with time and space all the time. I call it concatenating time and space. When things seem like there's no way I can get everything done in the amount of time I have, I shrink time and space. It's amazing. Play with the dimensions. Play with the energy. Check out new ways of living in this world. Don't be frightened by what you don't know. And that is it right there. We're so scared we're not going to have the answer, that Source is going to let us down, and we can't step into all that we are. So these kinds of things surface in that place of discomfort because we know better. We know to step into all that we are. We know to draw in the new energies, but we retreat back to the familiar, holding on, just to a branch in that moving river and thinking, oh my gosh, if I let go, I'll die. Some of us are so dramatic. Really? Not everything is like that. So test it out in your field. See what happens today when you let go of something. You know what it is. Anyone listening today, and I've said this to a few people, they know exactly what they need to let go of, and they're terrified. I'm telling you, do it. Let go and watch what happens. Now allow Source, the light beings, allow your energy to draw in the different experience, and don't reject it. This is your first step to stepping into being on the other side of the discomfort.
Leslie, let's talk about what you just said. Let's talk about the light beings and how they can help, because, that's something that you do. I mean, folks look at us and they think, well, they're just kind of sitting there doing things by themselves. But let's talk about the light beings and how they might help us transform our experience, our energy, and give us a different options, the world of possibilities. How does that work?
Well, I work with a lot of people. I'm about to start teaching some classes, some teleclasses, as well as some in-person events, because people are asking me, how do I learn to protect my field? How do I learn to work with light beings? How do I bring them into what I'm doing? If you're listening and you're resonating with this, then this is your day. First of all, light beings come in by invitation only, okay? And they come in because they're respectful of your field, and you are bringing them in at choice. You are choosing to allow that vibration to come into your field. First of all, they resonate at extremely high vibrations. So we talk about what we can't see, that's why. As our vibration raises, we start to see more. We start to allow more. So first, you're going to bring them in. What does this do? Well, first of all, it creates a shift in your own field. I would try this when you're super depressed. I have a CD called Transcending the Challenge of Discouragement. When you bring them in first, right off the bat, watch what happens to your field. You begin to shift. You begin to transform. Then it starts to push out your dimensional perspective. You're no longer looking at everything in terms of your to-do list, going to the grocery store, going to work, you live in a certain town, any of that. You start to see beyond that. And so then you get a higher and higher perspective. So there are teacher guides, there are ministering spirits, they all represent different attributes of Source, scientific mind, multiple things. They can be runners. They can help you with drawing in the things that you need to create. There are abundance archangels that can take the limits off of anything that you've placed. So when I'm working with people, I'm helping them get connected with that to release the limitations in our field. They help us to clear out some of the old energies in our ancestral line that have been holding us back and keeping us from stepping into all that we are.
Well, one of the things that I definitely would love for you to share with people when we come back is looking at for ourselves. Here we are. We've made a discovery. What's going to be the result?
Right.
What's going to be Leslie, if I'm doing all of this, come on, you got to give me a little insight so that I don't stay very uptight anymore. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back with Leslie Fonteyne.
Put a little woohoo in your life with Keys. Keys Clear Protein Waters have 22 grams of smile-making, attitude-adjusting protein in every bottle. Did I mention its tongue-tingling taste? Not just another guilty pleasure. With Keys, you'll enjoy every low-sugar sip and freedom from gluten, lactose, and GMOs. Who needs the fountain of youth when you can find Keys on Amazon or at Keys, Kees, please.com. Put a little woohoo in your attitude with Keys Protein Water.
In retirement, will you outlive your money? It's a common question for people approaching retirement, but it doesn't need to weigh on you. Ask Ameriprise financial advisor Jeff Packman about the new Confident Retirement Approach. You and Jeff can break down retirement planning step by step to get the real answers you need. Call Jeff Packman, financial advisor, today at 425-453-0272. Office is located at 601 108th Avenue Northeast, Suite 1800, Bellevue, Washington, 98004. The Confident Retirement Approach is not a guarantee of future financial results. Investment advisory products and services are made available through Ameriprise Financial Services, Inc., a registered investment advisor. Ameriprise Financial Services, Inc., member of FINRA and SIPC.
Sky Siegel co-hosts one of today's most popular psychic shows, Angels and Answers, with Artie Hoffman, as she communicates healing messages from the spirit world. These messages can be astounding, enlightening, and life-changing. Born with the God-given talent of inner guidance and the amazing ability to heal, Sky has healed thousands of people. Schedule a reading with Sky now. Call 908-500-1474 and visit skyofangels.com.
Called the Oprah of Radio by her listeners. Award-winning host Dr. Pat Baccili is blowing the doors off of traditional talk radio. Get ready for an energizing delivery and powerful interviews with leaders in the field of human potential. Dr. Pat's fresh, new perspective on living life full out has catapulted her show to the top of talk radio. Tune in and Dr. Pat will help you thrive instead of merely survive. Visit thedrpatshow.com. That's THEDRPatshow.com for listening times in your area.
Tune in to Sheer Alchemy with Leslie Fonteyne on TransformationTalkRadio.com and get ready to stir up your passions, identify your blocks, and shift into an entirely new existence. Leslie Fonteyne is a transformation catalyst and clairvoyant who uses her intuitive and energetic gifts to catapult listeners into living the life they were born to live. Whether it's shifting from scarcity to abundance, from emotional pain into joy, or from illness into health, Leslie will help you step into the true essence and power of all that you are with the help of the Ascended Masters and Archangels. You will not be the same. Visit TransformationTalkRadio.com for show dates and times and LeslieFontaine.com to say yes to explosive abundance.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. Sheer Alchemy. Leslie Fonteyne joining right here today, opening the doors for a conversation about pushing versus allowing and a transformation out of the face of fear. And this is really a very, very powerful show, Leslie. And before the break, I said, we got to be talking now about the end game for a minute. Mm-hmm. We have to be talking about the result. What is going to be the result? Because there is a result, and many times we're not really sure if there's going to be a result.
Totally right.
Yeah, let's talk about what that could even possibly look like for people.
Absolutely. So there's a few levels of your question, as usual. Mm-hmm. So first level is 3D land, which is, okay, now that I've done this, am I going to get that job? Am I going to get that money? Am I going to get that partner? Okay, so there's that level. The next level is releasing any of your concepts about how something will manifest that you've drawn into your life. Okay, so whether it's a job, whether it's a relationship, whether it's whatever, just taking all of the, requirements off. It's, that line, this or something better. So I've noticed that every time I begin really drawing something in, I really can't stand either the silence, the tension. I don't know what it is. So I want to get up and go distract myself. I can't sit with it. So pay attention to that part of you that cannot sit with waiting and allowing that thing to show up. Allow yourself to hold the energy. So right now, if you go back to that desire, go back to the messaging that you received, and really sit with it right now. I am convinced, and at least this is what's been shown to me, that when we get a vision and when we see the action that we're to take, there's a panic that comes in even at that level. And just allow yourself to step into that right now. Allow yourself to stay with it. Notice where it's showing up in your body. Don't run. Don't disappear. Don't hide. These are all parts of ourselves that are afraid of the light, afraid of stepping into all that we are, afraid of creating. And it's a sense of responsibility. My gosh, if I create this and I really make it happen, what will I be required to do every day? How will my life change? So notice that every time there's a decision, there's a new level of awareness. So when we're looking for results, the result is that we're clearing out the fear, we're clearing out the blocks, and we're creating a whole new reality, a whole new way of living. Does it mean that we no longer function? No, it does not. But it means we carry a different vibration. We operate differently. So give yourself the space. Even take this weekend as a time to try it out. And just notice what you do when you start getting your awareness, when you start getting clarity. Do you stop? Do you hide? Or do you allow it? And this isn't a shame game. This is just an awareness of what you do. And then each time I tell people, expand that period that you can sit with it. 15 seconds is a long time. 30 seconds is a long time. You'd be surprised. When I tell people to do this, they go, I don't have time. I go, you don't have a minute? You do have a minute. A minute is hugely powerful. So that's the thing. Where's the result? The result is in that minute. And it's to allow it. And I am telling you, you are going to move mountains, turn ships, turn heads. The whole thing is going to reverse for you. And today, if we don't get some emails on this, people who really do this, I don't want to hear the I can'ts. I don't want to hear about how I can't do that, la, 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 la. The ones who do it, please write. Write to Leslie at lesliefontaine.com or to Dr. Pat and tell us what happened, because it's going to happen.
Wow. You know, this is one of the things that I think is so important to talk about. And that is, connecting all the dots to this. And connecting the dots and being patient enough. Right. So often don't we jump to give up before? Gosh. Yeah. I mean, isn't that part of the dilemma with this? That we want instant gratification, in so many, many ways. But it takes time to release some of this, maybe not a whole lot of time. But we're learning a new tool here, aren't we?
We are. We're learning about all of our fears of performance, all of our fears of success and achievement. I listen to people constantly telling me about how they want more money and they want this and they want that. I mean, really? When by the time I'm done, we realize how much we don't want it. So we're afraid of the responsibility. We're afraid of owning our own experience. There is no parent. It's you. You are the grown-up. Your inner child's throwing a tantrum. Do you or do you not want to deal with it? So I'm saying this in kind of a firm way because I want to call us up a bit. I am totally, when I find a part of me that does not want to cooperate, I call it what it is. There she goes again. She doesn't want to do it today. But is that forever? No. It's just that I've recognized a new part of myself, and now I have to make a decision. Do I want to shift or not? Well, why do I not? Because I think I'm going to lose something right now that takes care of me, protects me, serves me, feeds me, heals me, etc. And so it takes a bit on this walk, this journey, this desire for results to identify what stands in the way of stepping into all that we are. There's a good bit. So that's why I bring up shame a lot. There is no shame in this so-called, I failed, I didn't get the results. What results? Did you heal? Did you clear that voice? Did you release that energy? Did your vibration shift? Did some little serendipitous thing happen today that did not happen yesterday that you noticed? Did you not ignore the voice that was coming to you that gave you direction, that allowed you to step into something and meet new people? So, that's the shift. That's the awareness. And I think we need to stop a minute and allow ourselves to look at each of these things that happen. So that's why I say the minute's so powerful.
Wow. You know, the other thing also that you talked about earlier was this idea of allowing and what the heart's role is in setting these intentions. And, you know, someone said to me a long time ago, you know, the heart is the natural leader. You know, it's never meant to take a back seat to other things, to the mind. And I thought, wow, it's taken me about 2 decades to even begin to figure that out.
Right.
But isn't that what you're saying as well when we talk about allowing?
We're integrating all these parts of ourselves. You know, I don't hang up my brain and put it aside because I operate on a spiritual level. Because Source has all those attributes. You know, you can invite in attributes of the spiritual, of the scientific mind and the active mind and all these things into your work. You know, if some of us tend to be over the top in our emotional department, we need balance, right? We need to counter it. We think that, oh, well, the mental space, that's not very spiritual because we associate spirituality with our emotions. So, you know, again, this is the constant unfolding, isn't it? It's this adventure we're on. So what are the results? My gosh, you're shifting like crazy. You're drawing in new things. If I thought about where I am now compared to where I was 10 years ago, oh my gosh. So, you know, appreciate what you've shifted through to this point. Maybe you've come through the sludge. Maybe it was the ice age. But now you can go faster. Come on, let's kickstart this thing. Let's make it happen.
Leslie, awesome. What a great show. One more time, tell folks the best way to find out about you, how to find out about scheduling a session with you directly, and where you're going to be.
Absolutely. Definitely go to my website. That's got everything you need to know. It's Leslie, Leslie, Fonteyne, FONTEYNE.com. You can also find me on the drpatshow.com or transformationtalkradio.com. Just search for me and all my contact information will be there. And I look forward to seeing everyone where I'm going. It's going to be an awesome spring.
Oh, my gosh. Don't forget, everybody, Leslie Fonteyne is where you can find her, lesliefonteyne.com. The other thing is make sure that if you've missed any part of this whatsoever, that you're listening again later on today on transformationtalkradio.com. All right, everybody. Thank you, Leslie, for a fabulous, fabulous show. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Lights go out and I can't be saved. Times that I try